All right, let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and shut those doors, Chris, if you don't mind. Shut that over there because we want to make sure that we get rocking and rolling. So guys, making sure we get some things, kind of little ground rules underway. Remember, how many of you guys are still filling out kind of every month, going through your top 10 kind of skills that you need to be thinking about? Booking parties, setting goals, going out there, achieving the different things that you need to for your business. Making sure that, you know, more than anything, it's about getting us down to the one thing that we all have to realize as business owners. The biggest thing that we have to realize as business owners is that people want to follow people that are what? Successful, but more than anything, they want to follow people that are confident. Because here's the deal, if you are confident about what it is that you want, if you have a very clear direction on where you're going as a business owner, if you are undeniably know what it is, that direction that you're out to do, that's what people want today. People are tired of people that are wishy-washy. They don't want somebody that doesn't know what they want out of life, what they're clear about. That is the biggest thing that I see with any type of leader in business. Not only just inside of Pure Romance, but any type of business. None of us want to follow somebody that is unclear. That is the biggest thing when we sit back and think about future leaders. One of the things that we talk about is making sure that we have 6 parties at all times, right? Making sure each and every month that we're growing to 6 parties. That is one of the staples, and people always ask, well, Chris, why is it that, you know, it's not 8 parties or 10 parties or whatever? The reason is because I want to get people to understand 6 parties is just the bottom of the basement. That's where you start. Everything above that is what you really are aiming for. See, it's so funny when I talk to a board member, or I talk to like a senior executive board, I said, listen, quit playing the Pure Romance pay plan. And they always ask, what do you mean? I'm like, the Pure Romance pay plan is not what you should be playing and not what you should be working towards. What you should be working towards or what you should be playing towards is the pay plan of life. Why do we sometimes go just to the minimums, right? Why do we sit back and say, oh my gosh, I got to have 6 parties, or I have to have 2 people to make sure I get my lifestyle bonus? It's crazy when we sit back, but we have been programmed that way our entire lives. If you came to SSW, I talked about what success really should look like to all of us. Success should look like that family member that we want to go out and protect. It is our obligation to go get it. Success is something that each and every one of you showed up in Las Vegas and said, hey, I want more for my life. I want more for my family. I want to go out and I understand that money is actually machine-made. But you know what? Success is man-made or female-made. And that's what you guys want, and that's what you should be aiming for each and every day. Go out there and get exactly what it is that you want, but it's going to be like this. It's going to be who is the most confident is the one that they're going to follow. Who is the most confident is the one they're going to buy from. Who is the most confident? That's the one I want to join their team. It's the way in which we hold ourselves. It's the way in which we communicate, which when we communicate, it's people are looking at everything that we do because we are our own brand. Remember when I tell you, you're your own CEO. The only difference between your business and my business is a couple of different zeros. Or a lot. But we all start off the same thing, man. You know, you spent 3 years at a U-Haul going from city to city with your mom. You know, you sit back and you learn, but I've had so much fortune that I've stayed a sponge. I've learned each and every time I come to an event. I sit through classes. I talk to the different consultants. What are they doing in their business? But I'm not only just following what Pure Romance is doing. When I told you the broke people listen to radio, broke people listen to radio. When I told you quit watching TV, that means quit watching TV. None of that shit is going to help you get to what you really want because none of that is going to be stuff that's going to feed you to go out there and be the executive that you want to be, the CEO that you should be, the one that you know that's deep down inside. But the issue is all of the other noise around us kind of sometimes suppresses our growth, suppresses exactly the direction that we need to be heading to in our life. And today, what I want to make sure that we talk about is I want to make sure that you're stepping into this kind of personal power, right? The personal power. Because when you start thinking about you start thinking about your business, the biggest things that we talked about inside of Future Leader is it comes down to a couple really small but mighty things to be where you want to in your business and in your life. Now, when people ask me all the time, they said, what is the biggest key to success? Because success does lead to that confidence, right? Or the thought of being successful. Because when somebody walks up and I talk to them, or they're listening to me speak, right? People will come up sometimes saying, man, Chris, I felt really good because it's being in this room of positivity. There's a bunch of people that I get this energy from. And I said, well, what type of energy are you getting? Well, I'm getting an energy of like confidence. I'm getting this energy like of people that really kind of stay a student with their business. They're hungry to keep learning. But more than anything, what I get is I get people that have good attitudes. And that's what it comes down to when you sit back and think about the triangle of success, right? A lot of people think it's always the people that are the smartest ones. It's never about how much knowledge that you have in something. Knowledge comes if you have what? If you have the attitude to go out there and want to learn. All of you had to have the attitude to say, hey, listen, I'm going to make an investment in myself this week. Where some people are like, man, you know, I don't know if I could go out there and make this investment because I don't know if I'm sure enough of myself. Anybody that never comes to an event, basically what they're saying is they are scared as shit about success. You're sitting there going, what do you mean? Because they don't believe that they can get it. They deep down don't think that they are worth the investment. You have to look at yourself as a stock. Would you invest in yourself? That's the truth. Anytime you don't keep investing into that stock, like it's thinking about like Google. Gosh, wouldn't any of us like to invest the first day in Google right now? Right? Or Uber, or you think of any other stock, Apple. Those guys, you know what all those people did? They kept investing more in themselves, investing more in themselves. And now look at them, they're some of the richest people in the world. You don't go and invest in 19 other different things. You invest in you. You're the brand. You're the business. That's the most important brand and piece. And when I see people that don't attend the events, I'm like, damn. They'll come up and they'll give me every excuse about why they can't be here. And I always just want to go back to them and said, quit fucking lying to me. Because at the end of it, what you're really saying, don't sugarcoat it for me because you got this or you got that or you got, man, we got people that travel everywhere. We got people leaving, babies to come here. I could give you story after story, and I give you story after story after story of the people that say they can't because they got other shit to take care of. That is the absolute biggest bullshit. And that is the stuff that just sits down, and I look at that and go, gosh, man, if they would just listen to what they say, who would they be without the story that they're telling themselves? Oh my God. Could you imagine if they quit telling them the story of failure or quit telling them the story of like, oh my gosh, I can never be successful, or they believe the shit that's really coming out of their mouth? Man, who would we all be without our stories? See, you know what you know. You know that that's true. You know because ultimately what happens is attitude and skill develops 85% of somebody's success. When you sit back and think about successful people, first they have the attitude. They want to be here. They're hungry to be here. They want to learn, right? And when you have that desire, and sometimes you see those when you see brand new people on your teams and inside your organizations, it's exciting to see those people that come to you like, man, like, you know what gets me jazzed? This is my favorite time of the whole week. This right here, us. Because you know why? Here's why. When people ask me, why is this the favorite time? Because when I walk into this room, I get the same vibe that you really want to be here, that you really are like committed to everything about growing and developing, and you're sitting here and it's like, gosh, I feel it. I feel that energy that's in this room, which leads into wanting to be better at your career, what you do, owning a business. That's the development of skills. And that's going to lead to the most important, which is going down there and saying, hey, once I have this attitude, once I have the skill, you know what? I'm going to develop the knowledge. The knowledge comes when you're able to have the attitude around your business. People don't want to be around people that have what? Bad attitudes, do they? They want to be around people that want to grow. But what I find most of the time is that people have this whole perception that they need so many different things in their life, that they feel like sometimes they need all of this other stuff. They need these coaches, they need these support groups, they need the speakers. They don't need anything. Nothing. Everything that is going to make you successful, you already have. You have every tool to make you successful. And that's the craziest thing, bless you, that I've seen over the 19 years I've been doing this. so many people think that your success is driven off of somebody else, like, oh my gosh, I gotta go listen to this coach, or I gotta go listen to this. No, it's what can you take from that person? What can you take from that training? What can you take from that podcast? What can you take from that YouTube video? What can you take by making sure that you're paying attention in your classes this week? What can you do to make sure that you're being aware of making sure that when you go out that you're running your business with grace, class, respect? That's what you have to understand. All of this other stuff, I see too many people that think they need these things to go out and be successful. And what happens is they have to understand you have to win the battle of the mind. Because none of those things make you successful. None of those things are going to make you fail. And that's where I see too many people that think that they need all of these things. What you need is you need this. And when you win this, just like your kids, they already have the talent. If they are going to go out there and be an Annie, right? She's got the talent. She probably has a great voice coach, but guess what? That coach probably goes out there and doesn't sing for her. She's got to sing. She has it deep down. She's going to take the information. She's going to go out there and rock with it. All business is having a different mindset than everyone else. If you want to be the successful person, you have to first understand when you don't come to something, it's because you chose not to come to something, not because you have all these other issues going on. If you choose to make sure that you go out there and you want to build a big business, you don't need a whole lot of people to tell you how to grow your business. All you need to understand is to show people how much that you love your business, how much you're dedicated to it. Because here's the thing, thoughts, emotions, and behavior are equal your beliefs. If you think that you can grow a big business, that's first and foremost. If you think that everybody that you come in contact wants to do a party with you, that's a win. If you go out there and you have the emotions and you're excited that everybody you meet, they get back and they go, damn, that girl was awesome. And the behaviors. You start looking at all of these things, the behaviors. Do you go out there and are you doing the follow-up? I want a big business, right? I know that everybody likes me when I walk in a room, and I'm going to make sure that every time I'm following back up with them, I'm going to provide the best customer service that I possibly can go out there and give somebody. All of those things are important because those equal our beliefs. The number one reason I see people fail in the business is because of their beliefs. We get told from such an early age how we're supposed to act, how we're supposed to go out and do things, how we're supposed to be behaving. And that sometimes is a detriment to you as business owners. Because when you sit back and you think about the thoughts, we were put in classes. We are put in like, hey, you're the fast reader, you're the slow reader, you're good at math, you're not so good at math. You know, I'm dealing with this with my kid right now. He has dyslexia, right? And he's in all these little slow learning classes. And Max comes to me and goes, Dad, you know what? I'm in the slow reading class. I said, you're in the what? You're not in the slow reading class. Can you read? He's like, yeah. I said, then you can read. You're not in any fast, medium, slow. You get the job done. At the end of the day, here's the thing. I want you, every time that you finish that book, I want you to come downstairs. I want you to tell me you finished that book. And he goes, why? I go, because I want to get up and I want to make sure that you and I go out there and we're going to go shoot baskets. We're going to go out and toss football because at the end of the day, babe, you were able to read a book. You were able to do the job. And I want to make sure that you celebrate that every time that you do that. Because at the end, why is it that somebody is going to tell you, Max, that you're a slow reader? Because if somebody starts telling that you're not good at this, or you're slow at that, or you'll never be this, then you, my friend, will start believing it. And buddy, you could do anything you want. You could be anybody that you choose to be. And you need to start believing in the most important thing, because it's not mom, it's not dad, it's not your coach, it's not your teacher, it's Max Ciccinelli. It's Max Ciccinelli. Nobody else is going to be able to do anything else for you in life except you. I'm just going to tell you that. Dad and mom are here to help steer. Dad and mom are here to help cheer. Dad and mom are here to make sure that you go down the proper path. We will be the guardrails of your life, but you still got to make the choices, bud. You still got to make the choices. That's what you have to understand. Everything that we have, our kids have, it's because we need to instill the correct thoughts that they can have what they want. Don't let somebody tell them they can't. Make sure you're checking in with them. Make sure that you're finding out, you know what? Because at the end of the day, they need us to be the advocates for them. As I'm being the advocate for you to say, don't listen to anybody else. Keep those blinders on, but make sure you're looking at the peripheral, because that's where the success is going to be. Make sure that you understand that there are going to be people that tell you you cannot do something because they do not want people to succeed. Look at the press. Look at what goes on in our world. And that's the thing that you should understand so you can get the things that you want out of this business, out of this world, because I want to see more people moving into the 1%er. That 1% mindset that doesn't give a fuck about what anybody else has to say. That's the most important thing. Because when you start looking at, you'll find evidence to put yourself right or righter. If I let Max go down this path, I let him go and he starts stumbling, he will prove himself he's right because he's listening, and he'll become righter and righter about he's not good. But if I tell Max, you know what, you're good and you can get better and you're going to continue to keep improving, Max's story changes. Dad's like, yeah, that's right, I can get better. And his right becomes righter each and every day. Because once he gets 1 book done, great, then he gets 2 books done, and then he gets 3 books done. But right now, he was afraid to read 1. He'd cry reading through it. If you know any kids that have dyslexia or ADD, they bounce when they read. They're constantly moving. They're constantly growing. So you try to get a child to sit back and actually read. But you know what? When you're instilled that say you can't, and that's what the problem is, we were programmed at this early age. So what we have to do is we have to reprogram everything that we've been taught about ourselves, about what we can or what we cannot do. Most of us have no thought process that says, hey, you know what? Can we look at this world and go, we can get anything that we want? And the answer is absolutely. Because what we have to understand is this, is we have to understand we have to believe that we are resourceful. And the question is, do you believe that you're resourceful? Do you believe that you have this ability to go out there and do what you have to do? Do you believe that you have the ability to go out there and have a better business? The question that you have to answer is for yourself. The person sitting by you, the person that's sitting next to you, your team leader, you, me, none of it matters. What we sometimes have to do is we have to reframe things. Now, when I say reframe things, we have to start looking at things from different lenses. I'm going to show you an image. I'm going to show you 2 images, okay? I'm going to show you how the image of one, how most people would think. And then the other image, I want you to tell me which one of them the successful person looks like and how they reframe a situation. Because every time we're in a situation, you could go to how the normal person thinks, or you could go towards how the successful person thinks. Because what it is what we tell ourselves. What it is what we tell ourselves. When you look at these 2 pictures, is it the one on the right or the one on the left? Who do you think reframes and goes, you know what? Shit's going to happen. Which one do you think is that successful person, right? You think the person that sits back and says, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, or oh, you guys can read? Right? Or you sit back and you think, oh my gosh. This is when you sit back and you think about it, oh my gosh, this is a comfortable place for my hand. Remember when I said we have to live a little bit uncomfortable to be comfortable? Most people don't want to live like that. That's my day every day. Every day. And I could sit back, people are like, man, you're constantly running, you're constantly going, all the time. Yes, but for me, I learned to understand that that's my comfort zone. I have to tell myself it's a comfort zone because there's a lot of times I'll go, you don't feel real comfortable. There are moments I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm going to fail. I'm going to fall down. And then the question is, how far is the fall? Because you don't see it. It could only be a couple feet. Maybe it's only 2 feet. How do we reframe those things? Because what we have to understand is the meaning we associate with experiences become our beliefs. That's an important piece for people to sit back and think about, our meanings we associate with our experiences. So when we maybe had, as growing up, maybe we didn't have such a great childhood. Maybe we were told that maybe we were told that we were overweight, or we were told that we weren't good at something. And so what happens is those meanings we associate with the experiences, and they become our beliefs, man. And those things, those beliefs are so deep into our core. And people ask, why is that so important for leadership? Because here's what I'll tell you. When you sit back and you think about booking, selling, sharing, we've talked about this. The most successful people in business have to overcome this first. This is the biggest game you play forever. I play it every day. Because at the end, if I can't win this game, the game of my own beliefs, my own thought, my own self-dialogue, my own talk, when we wake up in the morning, and I say we because we are multiple people. Somebody's like, what do you mean there's multiple of you? I feel like that some days. Because there are multiple. And I got to make sure, because you sit back and you think about, you wake up in the morning, right? I want to do something really quick. I want to see if we're all on the same page, right? So I'm going to have you guys kind of stand up really fast. Hold on, I'm going to find this out first, okay? I got to do this. I got to do a little exercise before I have you stand up. Now, I want to ask you guys a quick question. If you wake up in the morning, okay? If you wake up in the morning and the first thing that you grab is your cell phone, stand up. Okay, so I want to make sure this is the next thing. I want to see this. Is the first thing that you have, you grab your cell phone. If you have somebody lying beside you, keep standing up. Like a significant other, or like in her case, what do you call that? A practice husband? Okay, somebody laying beside you. Okay, so the really fucked up thing is that you grab that first and you don't reach over to somebody else that you're laying with in the morning. Okay, so here's the question. Keep standing. Like, I want you to look around the room. These are our people that have technology on the brain all of the time. Now, I want you to keep standing if it's the last thing you touch at night. All right. Hey, we want to give you guys, I'm going to give you guys some free Pure Romance products, because Pure Romance really sets the mood for each and every one of us. All right, go ahead, sit down. Now, it's kind of fun because you get to think about, we use our technology all of the time, right? We're constantly thinking that technology is one of those things that we have that we use, right? And so when I wake up in the morning, sometimes I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is I grab my cell phone, right? It's habit. And so when you think about that, you might reach over and you might look at all of the stuff that just happened on what? Facebook, Insta-Lie, all that stuff. And you start getting text messages about things that are happening in the world today. And all of a sudden, I can't remember the last time I woke up and there was this beautiful text message. Oh my God, you're so awesome. It's sun shining outside. The world is simple, it's easy. And by the way, we deposited $300,000 in your bank account. That would be good days. Typically, bomb over in blah, blah, blah. This has happened, that's happened, mass shootings have happened. I mean, that's the stuff we wake up to. So at the end of the day, you have to understand, if you roll over and grab that phone, and the first thing that you see most of the time, or you're scrolling through Instagram or one of these other things, you're most likely going to see stuff that's either negative, or you're like, damn, what is going on in the world? So guess what you have to do? You have to reframe your mindset about what's going on, what's happening, because that can also depress the shit out of you and make you not want to do anything. We have to understand that these are pieces of our lives that when you have a chance, you have to think that the things that make you feel, getting that phone in the morning is something that is going to play havoc in your business. We have to disrupt the patterns that we have because negativity is in an easy area for us to fall into. Very simple. How many of you guys feel like sometimes you go to the negative really fast? Okay, it's part of life. It happens. We're going to change that today. We're going to change that because I want you to start thinking differently, okay? And when I start having you think differently, I want you to think about this. We all have targets that we're trying to hit, okay? We all have these different targets. Now, some of you guys have targets that you're trying to hit 150,000 in sales. Some of you guys have $1 million organizations you're trying to build. But what happens is you have all of these behaviors that you have that are associated with your targets. And the piece that most people have to understand is the only way that you can get the results that you want are through your actions. And sometimes you have to understand you're going to have to change your actions. When I told you at SSW that you're going to have to take massive amounts of action if you want massive amounts of growth, you can't part-time do this business. You cannot part-time. If you want to go out there and bust your ass, when I'm saying part-time, I have you guys that come up to me, most of you come up to me in this group and say, hey, Chris, I want to make 50,000. I want to make 100,000. Well, the question is, how hard do you want it? How bad do you want it? Because you have these targets, but do your actions follow the things that you want? If you want massive results, then you have to have massive actions. I see so many people that they think that they have these like targets. Every year I sit down with, I did 155 business plans this year with our team. The first thing is, most people are like, Chris, I want to go after 100,000. I said, how much did you do last year? They're like, well, I did 50. I'm like, okay, great. What are you going to do differently? I'm just going to work my ass off. Okay, so when you say work your ass off, what does that look like? Chris, I'm gonna call more people. I'm gonna share the opportunity more. I said, well, what did you do last year? Man, I called a lot of people, Chris. I worked my ass off last year. I got the $50,000. I was sweating it out. I said, so you worked your ass off last year. How are you going to work your ass off this year? She said, I'm going to double my efforts. I said, double them? I said, like massive amounts of action? She goes, well, what is massive? I said, I don't know. You have to define that, because if you want something bigger, most people don't get and change the actions, and therefore they can't change their behaviors. And then therefore they never hit their targets. Because what we do is we do the same shit and want different results. You can't fucking do that. You cannot do that and get what you want in life. Every one of you, when I say you have the tools, I sit here and I promise you, you have the tools. The biggest thing that you have to change is the behaviors that you put around your tool set, the actions that you put around. Because I think sometimes you think you're working hard. But if I really asked you and I had a camera follow you around for 24 hours, 365, I guarantee you there's more out there for you, isn't there? There's more effort that you could put into the business. There's more that you could go out there and win each and every day. The question that you have to answer is, are you willing to take that massive amounts of action? Or are you worried about having all this guilt of being successful? Mommy guilt? Mommy guilt sucks, doesn't it? I have daddy guilt. It's not easy. But if you want massive amounts of results for you and your family, if you don't want to sit here and worry about making sure that you have enough money put away, making sure that you do when you decide, and it's your choice, by the way, when you decide that it's time to go and retire, that you have the money put away, that's the important pieces, guys. All of that's going to come down to the behaviors that you put around the actions for your results. That is what it comes down to. Now, here's what I will tell you, okay? So when I think of this, and I'm going to have you guys stand up. All of you stand up really fast, okay? So you guys can all stand up when you do this. Now, when I talk about this, and I say you have all the tools that are inside, okay, I want you to tell me, because I believe that the way in which our bodies are are kind of built, the way we operate, the confidence in which we exude. I want to ask you about a person that's depressed. Okay? So, if you think about somebody that is depressed, can you get into the state of depression? What does that person look like? Okay? Yep. What? Looks like you. What's you? What's your posture right now? Is your posture, are they straight up and down? Are they slunched over? Do they breathe fast or slow? Okay. Do they talk soft or loud? Okay. When I think about somebody that's in a depressed state, this is what I think of. When I look at somebody's posture, when I go around rooms and I can see people and how they're hunched over, or you see it in their eyes. You sometimes see it in the way they talk. See it sometimes in the way they breathe. They take these deep breaths. When you see somebody that goes through that, okay, and you think about the people that have that depression, they have this kind of down, slow. What is depression? Does anybody know what it is? Well, what is depression? Does anybody know what it is? Chemical imbalance? Is it something, but it's also sometimes the fear of the past, things that have happened to us? What's anxiety? Fear of the future. How many people think they have some sort of anxiety? Okay. So we basically, go ahead, I want you all to look around. Look at everybody else that has anxiety. Sometimes we feel like we're the only people that sometimes go through that. Sometimes we feel like we're the only people that go through kind of like depression sometimes, by the way, don't we? And those are two areas that ultimately are controlled by our mind. That is the biggest thing that you have to understand. We call that changing state. And what you have to understand is changing state is important. And what happens is if you're somebody that sits back and you have either one of those, that anxiety or that depression that goes through, because it seeps in all aspects of our life. We have maybe kids that are going through this, right? We have friends and family members that are going through this and team members that sometimes go through it. This is not something that anybody is like, oh my gosh, I'm immune to it. It can happen to any of us, and it can happen at different phases of our life. And when you get a depression or you get anxiety, all of those things can weigh your business down. They can weigh your best version of yourself down. You start working too much because what I told you before is time feeds fear. And when you have fear, fear basically can paralyze people. When I think about this, I think about you have to change that state. And that state is going into that kind of that badass state, right? That Wonder Woman, that Superman state. I want you to kind of get into that like Superman state for me. I want those shoulders back, right? I want you to kind of get into that Wonder Woman badass state. I want you to kind of, can you guys get into that real fast? Like I want you to throw those shoulders back. Okay, I want you to throw those shoulders back. Because what you have to understand is getting into this state, right? Getting into this state, 20%, you gain more testosterone. If you stood like this for 2 minutes every day, you just stood like this for 2 minutes every day, those shoulders back, those hands on those hips, I look like a badass. You start getting that little swagger like, no. You start getting that. What that's going to do is that's going to take down that cortisol. That's going to take down all of those things that lead into depression. That's going to make you do 30%, 33% more action when you have that, when you take that stance, when you sit there, because what that leads you to, that shoulders back, keep that there, right? Now, if you were a kid and you were excited about something, what would that noise be when you were a kid? Like, woo! Yeah! Woo! I want you to do it. What would be that noise if you would make if you were a kid? All right, do it one more time. I mean, those shoulders are back. I mean, you're feeling like a badass. Go ahead. Like one more time and really bring it. Woo! All right, now you're starting to feel that, right? Like you're starting to get excited. You're like, all right, every day, here's what I want you to do. Every day, I want you to wake up and I want you to get in that mirror and I want you to sit back like this. I want you to do it every day and I want you to make sure that everybody knows who the badass in the room is. Okay? Because it's you. And the issue is if you are in control of your business and you're in control of your beliefs, then the issue is, then guess who has to be the badass? You. There is no more time for sitting back and going, man, I am second guessing myself. Am I badass? Am I not? No, because I am going to strike the damn pose in the morning. I am going to be Wonder Woman. I am going to be Superwoman. I am going to be Superman. Whatever the shit you want to be. And then you're going to stand and you're going to make sure that you scream out loud and everybody in your neighborhood is going to hear you. Now, some of you are like, this is really crazy shit. Here's what happened. I'm watching some of you. Your belief system is saying it's crazy. Instead of just going with it, instead of saying, you know, Matt, man, this, instead of just being in check sometimes and thinking that you have to be this, man, is that what a typical business person does? Is that what a successful person does? Yes. A successful person is going to wake up every day because at the end of the day, I always know there's only one person I can count on. I'm going to make decisions, sometimes good, bad, I understand that. But there's one person I'm going to count on. Oh, you're like, well, Chris, you have a staff. Yes, but guess who has to be able to motivate that staff? Who's got to get the most out of that staff? Because guess what? I have to be the most motivated person in the room all of the time. Do you know what that's like? And somebody goes, is that normal? Is that natural? I said, absolutely, because I do wake up every day, and I get back and I say, and that get in that mirror, even in Las Vegas, I'm like, woo! Today is going to be the day, baby. And you know what? And I guarantee my next door neighbors are like, what the fuck is going on? Right? Who cares? Who gives a shit? Because at the end of the day, I pay my shit on time. I got money in the bank. I'm able to do what I want to do. And I got the most important thing, which is choice. That's what we have to remember. Because what we want in life is you want this. You want certainty, man. This is what you want. You want certainty. And that's what we all want. We want that certainty that's out there. And sometimes we have all of these pieces that come in and they can affect that certainty. All right? And so that's what we're playing for. If you're able to wake up every day and change your state, change it. Because here's the thing. If you got in a fight or you had an argument, you had something that didn't work in your benefit, right? This is what you need to do. You need to stand up, change it, roll those shoulders back, right? Strike the pose, do that. Now, you might sit back and go, what is this going to do? I don't know. You have to try it for yourself. But you have to do this. If you want to change your life and change your business, then you need to do some shit that's completely out of the box. Because I guarantee if you walk home from your conference and somebody goes, what did you learn? I learned our CEO is crazy, first of all. But I learned that if I roll my shoulders back and I tell myself and I really change it, and not just going to be, I'm going to be good today, I'm going to be good today, and giving yourself all these affirmations, which do help, but what really does is the whole change, this whole change that you're going to go through. And that's what I want. So here's what I want you to do. Go ahead and sit down. I want you guys to sit down. Now, think of this. Think of the time, right? The people that we influence, because what we have to understand is that we radiate. People that, when you're out there and you're sitting there going to have people that want to join your organization, ladies, the biggest thing that you have to remember is that you are selling yourself each and every day. I just was in, the other day, I was with our Canadian group, which they were great to work with. And the biggest piece that, everybody is like, well, what about this product or what about that product or whatever? And I hear that a lot. People, they buy you. They will buy what you tell them to do. Just like your team will do what you tell them to do. If you're not wishy-washy. If those shoulders are back. If you have that swag, that little confidence. Some of you guys, when I'm working with you and I'm talking to you, the biggest thing is like, Chris, I'm having my team. It's hard to get parties. Well, here's the deal. I'm like, well, how are you approaching this? Here's the thing. I hear it. That's always, as long as you're going to be here, the biggest issue that you're going to have is people working. The number one issue that you will always have, you will always sit back and you will always bitch about is that why aren't there more of my team working? Why aren't they doing what I'm doing? Why can't I find somebody like myself? It will be your constant like thorn in your side all of your career. And you're going to be like, well, even when you get to like 5 million, yes, because when you get to 5, you want 6. And when you get to 6, you want 7. And when you get to 7, you want 10. And you're always going to sit back and go, God, I got so many people that are not doing the work. That's society in which we live in. So therefore, accept what is happening, right? Change your state about it, get excited about it, and make sure that you radiate the, hey, I'm the most confident in the room. When you're going to do your next team meeting, before that starts, you get in that pose, you get that stuff ready to go. Because what I want you to start thinking about is thinking about in terms of abundance, getting more out of your life, getting more out of your business. Man, could you imagine if we were able to have this different mindset? Because as you grow in this business, and I see some of you guys, gosh, I see some of you guys that have been doing this for 10, 11 years in the back. You know? And I see a lot of you guys that have been doing this, and some of you guys ultimately are really starting to change your trajectory of your businesses. Some of you guys have listened to the same shit that I've said for the last 19 years, or 10 years, or whatever. I don't know, Lynn, how many years have you been doing this, Lynn? 16, right? I was like sitting back, you know, and thinking about this, you know, and you sit back and how's your year going, Lynn? What? 30,000? Yeah. Lynn, how much you sell last year? 86. So that's 90. So you're pacing 120 roughly. I'm just making it out. You know, how much did you do last year at this time? Was it 30? 20. Oh, just 20. Everybody hates you right now. God, I want to be at 20. But you know what, though? That's the thing, is you're still staying a student. Lynn, the one thing I love about Lynn is this. There is not a training that I go into in that market that she doesn't show up to. There's not one time she doesn't stay a student in her craft or her business, because what she keeps looking for is that law of abundance, because what she understands is it's the law of averages. It's the more times she talks to people, the more parties that she goes out and does. And you know what? And here's the thing. Now I'm going to be worried because I might not see you anymore trainings because you're going to be in your mirror and going, I'm a badass. Woo! Yeah. Everybody's going to be walking around the hall, because what we want to think about is what we can really go out there and get, right? What is that lifestyle of the rich and famous? What does that look like? Now, the biggest thing that I want you to think about is this. First, before you spend the money, you've got to make the money. Okay? And when you make the money, what I want you to do is save the money. And then when you have the savings that you have for you and your family, and you have enough, and then you have what's called fuck you money. This is their first conference, they're gonna go, oh my God, does the CEO cuss like that? I did go to Catholic high school. And I'm at a point I don't give a shit. Here's the thing. When you sit back and you think about that, what I want you to be doing is save first. And then when you get enough, then you have enough that you're able to play, do whatever you want. But when you think bigger and you think that you can possibly do that, man, is it come without hard work? No, it's not. But what has to happen is you change hard work into fun work. You just change hard and say it's going to be fun. It's going to be the fun times of going out there and doing what you do. Man, that's cool. That's the stuff, because 365 or 360 degrees. Here's what most people, when they see something, they take a picture, they see what's in front of them. What I want for you as future leaders and leaders of your organizations or CEOs or mindset is that you have to understand, yes, stay in your lane, know what's in front of you, but also know what's on the peripheral. Know what's on the side, because that's where your opportunity is going to lie. Too many people don't understand, because what they do is they're like, man, where should I be looking? Where's my opportunity? Where do I go? You got to man, it's constantly out here. You got to make sure that you're constantly looking at what is the opportunity, doing things different in your business, the way we talk to ourselves, the way we treat ourselves, the way we change our state, the moves. Motion creates emotion, right? Are we getting up every morning? Are you getting up, at 4 a.m., 5 a.m.? Some of you are like, no. The question I would ask you is, what about getting up that hour earlier? We talk about it every time I'm with you. Every time I'm with you, you hear the same thing. The same thing over and over again. Maybe one of these times what you'll do is you say, you know what, I know some of you text me, you email me, you sit back and you Facebook me and you tell me, you show me that you're up at 5 a.m. I love seeing those, by the way. I love some of you guys that get up at 7 before get up at 6. Some of you that were getting up at 8 get up at 7. Man, because if you can get up that 1 hour early, gosh, you have gained so much on everybody else. And then you were able to do the most important thing, which you were able to build that momentum for your day. You're able to go out there and create your different state. Not that state of anxiety, not that state of depression, but that state of opportunity. The state of opportunity. The eyes wide open, man. Anything is possible. The law of abundance, 360 degrees. I can go do it. When you leave this week, I want you to start planning your life differently, though. Now, I want you to think about this. You guys can keep your eyes open or keep your eyes closed. It doesn't matter to me one way or the other. But what I want you to think about is this. I want you to think about a time that you were really excited. I want you to see yourself just uberly excited, uberly kind of, it could be at a kid's soccer game. It doesn't have to be in business. It could be, oh my gosh, I had a great big huge party. But I want you to see yourself in that situation, and I want you to hear all the voices around you, or screaming for you, or congratulating you. But what I want you to really do at this time is I want you to see it brighter, though. I want you to take that image that you have, and I want you to make that image brighter. I want you to make sure that it's full color, right, man? This is digital. This is taken on one of those Samsung beautiful phones, right? Somebody tell me that feeling that they're feeling right now. Fantastic. Awesome. Emotional. Epic. Motivated. Invincible. Okay, now I want you to reach out for that picture, that image. I want you to grab a hold of that image. Okay? With two hands, grab that image. And what I want you to do is I want you to slowly push that image closer to you. Pull it closer to you so it's getting even closer. I want you to get that image even closer. Can you see yourself? What is it? How excited are you? What is the other feelings? What are the emotions? What are you hearing right now? Accomplishment. Overwhelming. Anxiety. What? Get it? Pride. Respect. Strength. Children's laughter. Oh, I like that. Feel like a badass. All right. I want you to now take that image all the way. I want to get that image even closer. So grab a hold of that image, and I want you to pull it all the way in that you actually pop your head through that image, and now you're in the image. What does your body feel like right now? Happy, light, relaxed, grounded. All right, that's the stuff that I want you to be thinking about. Because when you're thinking about those feelings, those exciting feelings, when you start getting to that point where you want to put yourself in a good state, after you're done yelling, getting excited, and sometimes you're going to be in that area where, hey, your day didn't go the way you want to. But when you want to get stuff done and you want to start taking action in your business and you want to act and you want to win with your actions, what I want you to take yourself back to that state, that time when you were really excited. That time that you were motivated. If you're going to make phone calls, if you're going to go to a coaching meeting, if you're going to do that, take that same image that you were just excited about right now. Take that same image. Some of you are probably going, does it work? Yes, because what it is our beliefs dictate our actions. And if we're not feeling good about our life or our business or whatever, and we can't find something to be excited about, we have to go back to that image that made us excited. We got to push that image or pull that image towards us. That's the stuff that's going to change. Because when you want to make that phone call, you want sometimes to pick up that 35,000-pound piece of equipment. When you start looking at that equipment, you say, gosh, that's like an ATM, right? how do I make sure that I change the biggest tool that I have, which is this? How do I change that in making sure that I'm going out there and win? You cannot not communicate, guys. Here's what you have to understand. We communicate this way. When I'm going to go win or I'm going to go out there and do a meeting, the first thing that I understand is this, that we communicate with our body language, right? When we go out there and we communicate with our body language, if we would walk into a room and we would have our shoulders all deep down like this, right? And we would just walk through. How many times do you think about when you walk into somebody's house? How do you walk in? How do you walk into that meeting? How the shit do you walk around here? Do you walk like this week? Do you walk like this? Because ultimately this means I don't give a fuck about you. If you're selling something, sell like this. You should be able to type now by feeling all the keyboard. Your body, right? Your physiology, right? How you go out there and sell. You're selling the most important product, which is you. And you're like displayed all the time. You're on display. Because they're buying you. They're buying that confident, unbelievable, strong businesswoman. They're buying this awesome person that's going to be walking in, that I want to join her team because when she looks, she smiles. When she's out there, I can read her eyes. I know that she's excited about what she does. Man, could you imagine joining that person's team? God, that would be the best team ever. She doesn't have to be the best seller. She doesn't have to be the best team leader. She doesn't even have to be the best at sponsoring. But what she does have to do, she has to have the best heart. She has to want it for me too. She has to show me that she cares. Rolling that shoulders back. Her tone, how she delivers things to me, how she talks to me. She's not yelling at me. She's not screaming at me. She's delivering it in a passionate way. I know she loves her business. I know when she's speaking, she's using words because she knows when she uses words that she understands that communication, if I have this great, posture and my tone's good and I'm delivering my message, but 7% of it's words, then I better choose my words really carefully. I need to choose those words that I'm going to say. I should think before I sometimes speak. I have to understand that business is not what? Business is not emotional, okay? And sometimes we take it and our emotions get too tied into the things that we're trying to accomplish, and therefore we don't understand that there's pieces of business that we have to remember that are transactional. It's not always emotional. We have to get that. We have to understand that because our words are so important. They're so important that I'm going to pick out 3 people to show you exactly what I mean. Can you come up here, up front? I'm going to have you come. Yep. And some of you guys are like, don't pick me. Don't pick me. I'm going to take you right here. Come on. All right. Give them a big hand. Come on, you guys come up on stage. All right, come up on stage. Now, here's the thing. We don't win arguments, right? We don't go out and then try to win everything. We try to make these different radical changes, massive amounts of action that we're going to take. What's your name?
Rhiannon Owens.
Rihanna. Okay. Hi, Rihanna. How are you feeling?
A little nervous.
Okay. All right, good. All right, why don't you give the microphone over there? Hi.
I'm Jess.
Hi, Jess.
How are you?
I'm good. You want to say hi?
Hello, ladies. Woo!
Okay. And?
Hey, y'all. I'm Jatana.
What is it?
Jatana.
Jatana? Well, I like that. Damn. All right. So we're going to have some fun, all right? So here's what we're going to talk about because you guys are ready to take massive actions with your business and your life, right? Okay. You sure?
Yes.
Positive?
Yes.
100%. Okay. Yeah, show me your move. What's your move? All right, show me your move. What's your move? What's your move? You got to get ready for this, man. We're going to go massive amounts of attack right now because you don't even know what you have to do yet. I mean, get ready because you're going to have to do a big job here. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, I mean, right now, if you need to get your state, you need to go, get your, nobody's going to think differently. So if you want to, yell really loud, none of us going to give a shit. You can if you want. Okay. All right, good. All right, so we're ready for this. All right, good. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I have 3 pieces of paper that I have for you because I want to make sure that you guys use your voices, right? Because I think it's important. So I have 3 very, very important pieces of paper that are going to determine your fate here at Pure Romance. Who would like to be the first to choose their fate here at Pure Romance? Okay, go ahead, pick. Okay, pick. Oh, do not open. Do not open. Okay. Now, I'm going to have to coach you here just in a second. So, who would like to go first with their piece of paper?
I'll go first.
You want to go first? All right. Let me make sure. All the way from South Carolina, Miss Jawanta. All right. Let me see your paper. Okay. All right. So, go ahead and take the main stage. Take the main stage. Rise and grind demo. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Do your best. Do your best. You can tell them what. Yeah. Tell them. Yeah. Like you have. You can make this the product if you like. I don't care. Okay. Good. All right. Great. You're going to take that. All right.
Okay, y'all. I have rise and grind. It's a lot of y'all in here. Hold on. Okay, ladies. How many times do you wake up and you hit your snooze alarm 3 or 4 times? And then you have your kids nagging at your significant other, whatever's going on, right? And you just want to go back to bed. So, your dog always wants to go out when you don't want to wake up, right? So this right here is rise and grind, okay? What you're gonna do during your little wake up routine, wash face, brush teeth, that's very important. You're gonna put a little bit of this around your neck area, and this is gonna give you that boost of energy that you need to go throughout your day, okay? So how many of us need that extra bit of energy? Yeah? So this is exactly what you wanna take tonight, our rise and grind.
That was good. Good job. Good. It's crazy when you have to look at all of them, right? Look at that. Now, hold on real fast. So let me ask you a question. Have you ever done a demo in front of that many people before?
No.
Okay. Well, I can feel your heart right now next to me.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, it is beating out of her chest.
Yes.
But gosh, oh my God, why did you stand up here and do this?
Because it felt good and I needed to do it.
Okay, all right. And you did it, and it was crazy. You didn't even
Thank you.
Okay, so did you feel the confidence?
Yes.
So dude, when you rock now, and you have 4 people in your audience, you're gonna be like, shit, done that before.
Yes.
I mean, 4 people, dude, I just did 700, it's fine.
Yes.
All right, good. Hey, give her a big round of applause. Okay.
Does it have to be a specific one?
Anyone you want to do. So you can do Gucci. You can do any of them but Blooms and Noir, sexy voice, okay? Okay.
Not my thing, but okay. All right, ladies, I got Blooms and Noir. Anybody like that fragrant flower, but not too much? Like the whole sexy thing. Like you want to smell good from the time you step out of the shower to the time that you go to bed at night, right? Well, the Blooms and Noir has that light, fragrant flower scent, and you can wear the whole entire collection all day long and have all its sexiness that he likes every single day. You don't have to say, oh, I don't want to waste that $40 bottle of perfume or that $110. I've never bought one of them. But when you have that sexy feel, he knows it, right? Or she knows it. Yeah, and you feel it, right? I'm like, damn, I look so good. Don't even worry about this all day. Someone says, hey, can I get what you got? Yes, you can.
All right, now, hold on. So now what did you guys think of that demo? Okay, so now do it in the voice tone. Okay, all right. So here.
Like that.
Okay, all right. So here's what I want you. Let's do it this way. All right, here's what I want you to do. Let's see. Voodoo. You could either be rapper or you could do country accent. You pick.
You got it.
You're doing great, by the way. Give her a big round. You want me to help you? Sure. Okay. All right. Did she do? All right. She drew that she had to do Blooms of Noir in a sexy voice. Oh. All right. So she had to do the Blooms of Noir in a sexy voice, and she had to do it that way because sometimes your tone.
I know.
Oh my God. It was like amazing.
Now
I mean, you look. I felt so coochie. When I use coochie on my legs, whoa. All right, give her a big round of applause. Good job. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see what we got. Oh, snap. That's going to be fun.
Okay.
Okay.
Got
Yeah.
it?
I imagine.
Who's your favorite cartoon character?
Say that again.
Your favorite cartoon character? Because did you read it?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of which one that would be. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Trying to think of do Donald Duck for me. Okay.
Right, please? I can't do this very well, but it's fine. So, who loves to be tan, but doesn't like to tan? Woo! So we have this major wonderful product called Cocoa Glow. And Cocoa Glow doesn't sound like Donald Duck, but it is an amazing sunless tanner that has multiple properties to not only tan you now, but tan you later. And I'd like to take a survey to see how many people have used Cocoa Glow right before you came here. Woo! What? So, share this with your friends so that they can be tan without tanning. Thank you.
All right, so she pulled that she had to be Donald Duck for hers. Hey, did they do a great job? All right, hey, listen, for coming up here and for doing this and having so much fun with us, I'm gonna make sure that you go and you see my staff. Is Chris Poser in the back? Where's he at? Okay, Chris is in the back somewhere. Go get $200 in cash from my team. All right, so you guys go get it. They'll take care of you, all right? Thank you guys. Hey, listen, but hold on. There's a catch. There's always a catch. We are now the Four Amigos. All right? So if you buy a drink, you gotta buy me a drink. And if you go and you bet money, I get half of the winnings. All right? I am now putting you guys in charge of making sure you report back. All right? All right. It's funny. How was their body language when they came up here? Were they like, oh shit? Okay. But then they changed, right? They got in their character, right? They went into the person that they want to be, which is this. most of the time, it is kind of scary. If you were sitting out here and I called you up here right now and you didn't know you were being called up, some of you guys would be like, them, holy shit, right? And it's nerve-wracking, but when you change that state and you're able to attack it and understand that your tone, rise and grind, normal voice, right? When you sit back and take a Coco Glow, she had to go out there and be Donald Duck, and then you had to make sure that you had the sexy voice for Blooms and Noir, right? All of that, because your tone is 38% of how we communicate with people. So when you talk really fast, you sometimes have to slow down. You got to change the way in which sometimes you're delivering. If you constantly feel like you're yelling, somebody says to you all the time, they feel like you're yelling, you got to slow them down. You got to make sure you're paying attention to how you're speaking to people, the words that you're using. I was listening to a Tony Robbins podcast, and he was talking, him and Sage were talking about, the words you use are very, very powerful. And the way in which we say the things, it's the true or true. We have to remember that when we talk to people, and we say things that are coming out of our mouth, and sometimes when we're in arguments or we get angry and we say, I don't like you, or I hate you, or I'm leaving you, or other things that come out of our mouths, you basically are putting those out there, and those will come into fruition. You have to be careful about the things that you say. As a CEO, as a business owner, you have to understand that what you say to your team, how you communicate with them, it's important. Everything that you're doing is through this one piece of information, this one big brand that people are watching. The way in which we talk, communicate, body language. We have to understand when we're selling the opportunity. When people are out there selling, we have to understand that people are going to buy us by the way in which we communicate, and all three of those levels are important. We have to understand this. When we are using our cell phones, they are a tool, but we cannot make them, they can't use us. And what I mean by that is this. If you are constantly in your cell phone, you're basically showing somebody you don't really care. Now, it's almost like you're in the room, but you're not in the room. Your body is there, but your mind's not. And you've ever been in a conversation with somebody and they have a delayed response to you because they're on their phone or they're in that? Try to make sure that it's getting worse and worse because more people are getting kind of the whole phone thing is bothering a lot of people these days. At dinners and restaurants, and we're so habitual with things. Like this really does dominate a lot of our life right here. And you start thinking about all of these things that we do. And if I stood up here and was like, I'm going to check my cell phone. It's rude. It's rude. Because ultimately what I basically did is said, this here is more important than you. And we have to remember this. When we're at team meetings and things like that, I was just with 87 CEOs the other day. And I would say 80% of them were on their cell phones. And we have a speaker that's in there that was the chief brand officer of Google. These guys couldn't even be at the same level. None of us could have been. He's the chief brand officer, and you got 80%, 60 plus female and male executives, CEOs, on their cell phones. What do you think that person from Google was thinking? Because I know what he was thinking because I asked him afterwards.
I make more money than
Yeah.
you.
His biggest word he said it was a lack of respect. But he goes, you know what? The best part about it was, he goes, there was 20% of the room that was concentrating. And he said, I focused on those 20. And it was so funny, he had people come up to him and to talk to him afterwards. And he basically locked eye to eye with me, and we started talking. And we were just talking about, he's talking about his 9 principles and, trial and error. And I was just really intrigued by listening to this guy, But even if I'm not intrigued, I still look like I'm intrigued, And I asked him, he was like, one of the guys came up, one of the CEOs came up, and he said, well, I'm going to talk to Chris. I could be over to you in 10 minutes. And he looked at me, and the guy goes, okay, great. The guy walks away, and he goes, he won't stay, watch. I'm like, okay. Literally, he walked out of the room. I said, how'd you know that? He goes, because he was on his cell phone the entire time I was talking. See, he wanted to communicate to me when he was ready, and I wasn't ready to communicate to him. And if he really wanted my time or my attention, then he would have paid attention to the first hour that I talked. That's the things that we have to be mindset, and we have to put this in and think, okay, man, I know that everybody else is on there. Everybody else is on their cell phone, because cell phones have this, that do something to our brain, which is called dopamine. Okay? It's like getting high. All right, it sends a chemical there in our brains that this becomes something that we get asphyxiated to. We need it. We have to have it. And what happens is, sometimes you'll be on this and you will lose track of time. Okay, and then you sit back and go, where does my day go? Where does my productivity go? This will be one of your biggest battles that you will face as well. Because you do have time to do your business. You do have the time to do what you need to do, but you have disruptions. You have disruptions with your own mental, your own mindset, but then you have these other things, which are the things like your phone that become an issue or a challenge for you. You have to remember that you're the co-creator of your experience. And what that means, by the way, is you get to decide when you leave here today, how do you go out there and take everything you got from conference? Because you're going to have a lot of fun this weekend. You guys are going to do a lot of cheering, a lot of exciting. You'll have, you'll be able to, share the different opportunities with each other. And I think that's important. But how do you take, because remember when I said early on, the people that did not invest in their stock, which is themselves, they're not here. You made this investment. You doubled down. That's important. Because what you have to understand is for every action, there's a reaction. Every action, there's a reaction. Now, what's going to go home is you're going to sit back and go, what about the people that are not here? What is their reaction going to be? They're going to be like, how was it? Oh my gosh, I wish I was there. What did I miss? And then some people are like, I didn't even know there was a world conference. And you know that's true, don't you? Some of them were like, I wasn't even sure what was going on. I got a couple emails. There's always, for every action, there's a reaction, and we got to remember that. You've got to understand you can't participate in the cause without participating in the effect. And that's important. You guys right now, if you want to go grow your businesses, now I have all the tools. Now if I want something, I got to change my state. I need to make sure that I'm going out there and I'm playing bigger. I'm making sure that I understand that through our feelings, our motivation, we have intentions that we want to now go out and we want something bigger. We're going to go out with intentions to say, hey, look, I'm going to go grow my business this year. I'm not going to worry about what's going on in the economy. I'm not going to be worried about what's happening. I'm going to look at success as something that I'm going to go after. I'm not going to sit back and let all these chicken shit people that are in the cheap seats start hurling their judgment, their criticism, their mongerism at me each and every day, and I'm going to tackle the things for me. Because as business owners, that's an important thing, and we have to understand what goes around always comes back around. I don't care to listen. I'm not trying to argue with somebody that has their feelings about me or about my business or about my direction I'm heading in. Neither should you. You should always remember, if you treat people with the grace, class, respect, you will earn it. You will get it. It will become something that's the most important thing. When you understand that everything that you do, which is our choices, our responsibilities, those equal the power that you really want for your business. You want choices. When I look at that and I say, what do the most successful people have? They have choices. The most successful people, they sit back and they understand it's a responsibility. My responsibility is to show up each and every day to become a better version of myself, not just for you, but also for my kids. And not only for my kids and for you, but for my organization, for my community, for the people that I surround myself with. Because what I want to be able to give to them is I want to be able to give them everything I have. And if I don't understand that me taking care of this person is important, and understanding that every day when I come to play, it's important, And that I understand that there's no coach, no guru, no trainer, no training that's going to be able to have more effect on me than me. Me. That's it. You have the same ability. You have the same ability to go out there. We feel powerless when we believe that we have no choices. And some of you believe you don't have choices right now. And that needs to change. Because when you start understanding that there are choices, you can work your ass off each and every day. You can choose not to listen to some of the people that are out there telling you what you can and cannot do. You have the choice to sit there and say, you know what? This is my business. I'm going to grow it. I'm going to work as much as I can. You have the choice to understand that it's a temporary pain that you're going through to build something. You have the choice to understand that I might not be here every day to tuck you in every night, but when I am here, I will make sure that it's the best tuck-in ever. I might not be here to read a book to you each and every night, but when I read, I will make sure I bring the most vibrant and the best character voices I can possibly bring out to you every time I read those books to you. Those are the choices we can make. Those become the power that we actually have. When we start thinking about it, we empower by increasing the awareness of choice. We get to power people. We get to make sure that we understand the more choices that we will have, we find ourselves being more empowered to have somebody else join your organization, join your team. Man, that's important. You've got to be brave, baby. Being a leader, being your own business owner, being your own thing, it's really being able to step outside and do what other people are afraid to do because they don't believe that they can do it. They don't believe that they can overcome the biggest challenges, the biggest hurdles, or whatever. Don't let that become you. Don't let that become your kids. Change the pattern. Break the negativity. Break the things that are going on sometimes in people's world. It's okay to be vulnerable. I didn't like that in the beginning. I didn't like to be vulnerable. I didn't like to have to share emotion. You know, because you think that people want you a certain way. They want you to behave a certain way. They want you to act a certain way. Once you become vulnerable, you become a little bit more like a badass. You're a little bit more open. You can do things. Your mind becomes, you know what? Once you feel like there's nothing that people can have and hold or care what the other person says, and you allow those actions, that's the brave stuff. That's why I sit back and I say, you cannot live a brave life without disappointing some people. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about disappointing Max because I can't read to him every night. There's not a day I don't think about disappointing LC because I can't be at every volleyball practice. There's not a day I don't think about disappointing Macy because I can't be there tumbling. There's not a day that I feel that when I took my vows with my wife that I feel like I disappoint her some days because I can't be home every day when there's other couples that are having dinner together, groups of our friends going out there to different events. My wife goes by herself. You're going to disappoint people. It's going to happen. But you also got to make sure that you communicate with them. And when we all know we're playing together and we're in the same team, we're the Chickenellis. We're not going to be like the Smiths. We're not going to be like the Johnsons. We're not going to be like them. We're us. This is our family. Call it what you want. Because at the end of the day, I want to make sure that I give them the opportunity to change their life. Give them the opportunity to grow. They understand that when Dad goes out, that he's not just doing it for his family, but he's doing it because there's a responsibility that's out there. I'm glad that I was given this responsibility. Sometimes I always wonder, why do you get picked or what happens? Why did he decide that I was supposed to be doing what I'm doing? Why? I have no idea. Why does the passion burn so deep inside that every time that I see you guys, I get excited? You're my family. I love you. And that's the most important thing. That's the most important thing. It's because not just the Chickenellis, but it's all of us. We're all rowing together. And what I would do the same thing is I'd have the same conversation that I would have with Macy, LC, or Max that I'd have with you. And I would make sure that we understand we're not going to be perfect and we're not going to be bulletproof, baby. It's not going to happen. We're going to have some things that are going to not work in our way, man. But we have to understand that we got to show up even when we don't know what the outcome's going to be. I don't know what the outcome's going to be some days, but I show up and I fight. And you've got to walk into the arena. When I read that from Brene Brown's book, I thought, man, that's exactly. Too many people want to know, do they win or do they lose before they start the competition? I say just compete. I say go out every day and compete. Make sure that you understand that this is part of being a human. It's part of what we do. When I think about being a future leader, man, I think about you. Here's the deal. I'd rather just take the thing and say, future leader aside, and say masters of your business. Because really what it is that you're mastering everything about your business, because once you master this and this person, that's where the whole thing is. That's the 1%er mindset. That's where your business will really change. And here's the thing, you will always have to work on this person. You will always have to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with good people. You will always have to make sure that you're out there having healthy conversations, putting good stuff into your body, not getting caught up in negativity, which is easy because there's a lot of people that can go to the negative because it's a lot easier to build somebody up than it is to tear them down. It's a lot easier. See, we don't do that because this is our event this weekend. This is your event. This is your company. This is your place this weekend. And when you walk and you see people, we are family. You extend that same thing. You send that same thing of loving and caring to the next person. You might see somebody that's walking out here by themselves. Maybe somebody that's sitting down and doesn't have anybody to sit with. Maybe somebody's having dinner by themselves because it's their first conference. Has anybody been that way before? Look at the hands. We've all been at events by ourselves. And you know what? There is not this group and that group and this. We don't do that. What we do is we are all one group. We bring everybody to the mountaintop together, baby. We bring everybody to success together. That's what we do. Last thing I want to leave you with is this. As you go through this week, man, when we talk about living life by design, it starts with us. We've always had that pen in our hand. We've always had that ability to do this. Some of you, I see your numbers each and every day. I see the way you interact with your teams. I see the things that you're doing on Facebook. I see the things that you're grinding out. You understand that business is going to have different peaks, different valleys that you're going to go through. But the one most important thing that you do through that whole thing is when you live life by design, you are constantly gathering images. You're grabbing clips. You're grabbing things that you are building your own Pinterest board each and every day for what your values are, for what you want for you, what you want for your family, what you want for your team. People need to understand that about you. They need to understand what it is that you're trying to create. When you say living life by design, when somebody says, what do you do? Yeah, I'm a pure romance consultant and I'm living my life by design. I get to choose what I want. I get to choose when I want to work. I get to choose the freedom that I want to go out to do. I know what I know, baby. And I know that I want more because I deserve more, because I'm willing to go out there and work more. I understand that success is not the scarcity item that's out there just for a very few. I understand that this is for everybody. I understand that money's machine-made, success is man-made, female-made. We do that. And that's what I'm going to continue to keep grinding each and every day. And right now, I want to leave you with this. It's your turn to live your life by design. It's your time to make sure that you go out there, have a great time in Las Vegas, keep it rocking, keep it going. I appreciate you guys being here today. Have a great event.